Protein Manitoba was evolved at the genesis of Project Aspire. Project Aspire was really, I think it was a groundbreaking initiative that allowed a province like Manitoba, where everyone knows everyone. But the problem with that kind of in-person network is that you never know how broad or depth it is. And with Project Aspire, it helped to bring clarity to the entire ecosystem here in Manitoba of not only who are all the players and their capacities, but also to map out, in particular for Indigenous communities, as we start to look at how do we play in the space of protein, who are potential partners, how many steps and what capacity do you need to go in a different area. That's the first step of reconciliation and inclusion, is starting to understand where are there opportunities, where are there fits, and how can we participate. Project Aspire really gave us that momentum. Now we're really seeing that transition into community engagement.
ProteinMB is the facilitation team mobilizing the industry-led implementation of the Manitoba Protein Advantage Action Framework, a collaborative strategy to make Manitoba the global supplier of sustainable protein. ProteinMB associates are individuals, communities, or organizations that want to get involved and work together to advance sustainable protein.
Everybody across Canada, obviously starting in Manitoba, but we're expanding across Canada and beyond, and looking at all of the players in that space and who we can reach out to, not only from a research perspective, but it's really important to tie into industry, because industry is not going to work with academia unless they have an understanding of what that basic research can actually evolve into and meeting those goals that they have themselves.
Part of what we do is producing a good sustainable protein. The segment where we operate is in plant proteins and specifically hemp protein. We have a very good, highly digestible protein product, and I think that's the message that we can sell, is that it's produced right here on the prairies, manufactured here in Manitoba, and from here we can reach anywhere in the world. That's really our advantage. The collaboration around the industry that we get from ProteinMB, it really helps as far as looking at new innovations or developing new markets or just collaborating with others in a similar space so that we can share ideas across our networks.
So we would get engaged with ProteinMB so that we can network with other companies and have discussions with them about where the industry is going, any trouble that we're seeing in it, that helps collaborate on how do we get farther and how do we get better and how can we reach more people with the protein that comes out of Manitoba.
Growers are really, really innovative. So we had growers that try intercropping. So some of our growers do hemp and alfalfa intercrops. And then if it works on the farm, other farmers are going to see that. They're going to collaborate together, ask them what practices are you using, what crops, how does that work? And then they really do get inspired together.
I think the benefit to collaborating among ProteinMB is we aren't just on our own solving issues, we're able to help each other out. What I may have solved last year, be fighting with right now, or on the other hand, you may have ideas that I've yet to implement, so collaboration will help us all get better.
Here in Manitoba, we have different crops, especially plant-based protein sources like lentils, peas, canola, sunflower. These plant-based proteins are very important for our economy in Manitoba, and work with those kind of proteins will help the economics of our province. And also working with collaboration of industries, it will be very important so we can process these plant-based proteins and also give more applications of this. Not only eating as a raw sample, but how can we incorporate these sources in our different industry applications and aiming to improve the protein quality of these sources. ProteinMB, it'll be a good link to help the collaborations between industry and research, helping with the challenges and barriers that face academia sometimes work alone and industry sometimes work alone, and ProteinMB, it'll be the great link for us all work together.
The beef industry it's my industry. That's what me and my family have chosen to
make it our life's work. That's how we can stay on the land here. So the sustainability story is my story and our story, the past generation and the next one. The role that ProteinMB could play to benefit us in the beef industry would just be to further amplify our voice of doing all the good things that we're doing within the province and the country and the world. Just the more voices telling our sustainability story, as well as the other sectors across the province, the more voices telling that, the better.
Grandmother told me that continue eating the wild food. It's more healthier than the fish, especially. It's healing. I call it healing. When you actually come out here, at camp there, it's all of our resource, land-based people. We can teach each other how things are done, or how can we communicate with our young ones or even our elders. And then we go back to our communities and, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna maybe get chickens one day, or I'm gonna grow a garden. So little goals, small goals, and big goals is really important when we do these gatherings.
As much as we focus on our communities and our people, really going right down to each individual and empowering each individual to rise up and then to build teams, to engage the whole community, create a movement across the province. There's so much that we can gain from outside of our communities, from the outside world. It's a beautiful day and age that we live in today. There's so much technological advancements. There's so much successful industries. There's so much expertise within academia. What we try and do is build a whole vast network of support that can put the weight behind the people on the ground in our communities. From the sector, there's a lot that we can learn from people who are doing the work, with livestock and other kinds of protein production that can come and help us to figure out what agriculture looks like in an indigenous context in northern Manitoba. On top of that, we can utilize a lot of funding sources that can allow us to do the work, that can allow us to go down the road, overcome the challenges, and figure out how to make things work, how to create that foundation so that the work will sustain itself. And on top of that, we would love to see business opportunities extended to our communities so that we can create a new economic reality. Not only will we traditionally harvest food that we can share with each other, but we can start up agricultural production that we sell to each other in our communities, we sell to other communities, even start pursuing value-added products with international reach. This creates that balance, another level of sustainability where we're feeding ourselves, but we're also bringing in, we're generating wealth, revenue streams, creating employment, and making sure that we create this state of existence, this new level of thriving in our communities together.
We are ProteinMB. Working together is at the core of what we do.